Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing Emma. This was directed by Autumn D. Wilde and stars Anya Taylor-Joy, Mia Goth, Johnny Flynn and Bill Nighy. It's yet another adaptation of Jane Austen's beloved comedy about finding your equal and earning your happy ending. The film really focuses on Emma, played by Anya Taylor-Joy. She's a relentless queen bee without rival in her sleepy little town. In this glittering satire of social class and the pain of growing up, Emma must adventure through misguided matches and romantic missteps to find the love that has been there all along. Overall, I'm a fan of the Jane Austen movie adaptations. I think they're all very well done and very interesting, and they bring to life the story very well, I think. I really like Keira Knightley's Pride and Prejudice. I think that's really solid. And I like the Gwyneth Paltrow version of this film, Emma. That's really fun and entertaining as well. I think overall it was an entertaining movie filled with really interesting characters. I think Emma's a really fascinating character. I like the fact that she's sort of this matchmaker, romantic that sort of tries to help everybody else's love life and can't seem to help her own. And it's about her sort of navigating through this. She doesn't quite get along with Knightley, played by Johnny Flynn, who lives just down the road, a man who always walks everywhere, who doesn't really use a carriage. He enjoys the ultimate walking, and they sort of clash, these two. But the chemistry between these two actors and these characters is really the best part of this film. It really connects you and grounds you to these characters, and you really care and feel for them as they go along this particular journey. I think that Mia Goth is really great in this. She's an actress I've only seen in a couple of things, but I've liked what I've seen her in. I think she's quite unique in this. She's playing something a bit different. She's sort of naive and young sort of character, but she plays it so well, so believably. It's really fascinating to watch. And it's filled with some really great supporting cast as well, who all give great performances. I think the thing that makes this sort of interesting for me is the comedy elements. I think it's a very humorous book, and so the films always have that great element of humour. And it felt kind of interesting to see a reinterpretation of this film, a reimagining, if you will. Because we'd seen this sort of storyline a number of times, but they're trying to do something different. And I think it crafts a unique look at this particular world. And the way it's shot, it's beautifully shot. There's some really great sequences in it. The houses that the characters inhabit are beautiful, and these elements are really well shot. I think the set design is fantastic. The costumes look really good and authentic for that period of time. I think it's really the characters and the actors that really hold you in this story. And I felt it very engaging and funny and interesting. But the person who really stealed the show for me was Bill Nighy. He was perfectly cast as Emma's father. He was so great in this film. He had some really great moments that felt very improvised, and he added a lot of humorous moments throughout the film. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And he's an actor who doesn't seem to age. I've never seen him as a young man, but he doesn't seem to age once he's hit a particular age. He just seems to be looking the same. And he's just fantastic in here. And his relationship with Emma and the way he bounces off Anya Taylor-Joy is just a joy to watch. I think it's fantastic. I must admit, this film took me a little while to get into. The first hour sort of takes its time to sort of introduce the characters and the situation. There is humorous moments in it, but it just feels like they can't quite get the tone right in the beginning of the film. It wants to be humorous, but it wants to be dramatic, and it can't seem to mesh really well together. There's something that just doesn't quite work about it, for me anyway. And I felt, even though the actors were really good, I didn't feel a connection to it. It wasn't until the second half of the film that it picked up for me, when we see more scenes between Anya Taylor-Joy and Johnny Flynn, and just their chemistry together, just seeing them on screen was really great. I liked this love affairs happening between them, but they don't want to talk about it. But this is where it becomes sort of engaging, because the Knightley character starts off as this guy who goes against Emma and has a go at her all the time, and they clash quite a bit. But when he sees her with fresh eyes after they share a dance at a ball, he starts to look at her different. And this is very realistic, I think, in many ways, that how Flynn felt uncomfortable around Emma and didn't know what to say, and wasn't his funny, sort of sarcastic self, and he just didn't know how to interact with her, and she didn't know either. And these were some of the great moments in the film I really loved. I feel a connection to it. It was fun and entertaining. It felt like they finally got the comedy and drama to mesh together in the second part of the movie. Like, it took a time to do that. And I really liked what they were able to accomplish here. I would say that the Emma character here is a bit catty, very prickly, that you sort of can't connect with. And she's very mean to people and mean-spirited and a bit self-absorbed. Yes, she does have an arc. She starts in this way and she sort of grows and she realizes what she's been doing isn't right and she tries to redeem herself, which is really great with these sort of characters. Giving them a moment to redeem themselves, I think, is really important. But yeah, she just felt like a prickly character all the way through and I just didn't feel real connected to her. I just felt she was mean and nasty for no reason. But like I said, in the second half of the film, we get to see why she is that way and the arc and the growth that she has towards the end of the movie. There's something about the English sensibility, about this romances that are sort of unspoken. I really love that. There's something about these sort of English shows and movies and books that I really like. It's a relatability for me, that unspokenness where you don't have to explain everything, where you don't have to talk about how you feel, but each other knows it. So I really like these aspects of the film. I like we get to see the different social classes and sort of behind the scenes, make it engaging and interesting to watch. I think Autumn D. Wilde, and a director I haven't quite heard much of, I think did a fantastic job with this film. It was a really solid adaptation. It had its moments where it didn't quite work, but they were working those issues out. There's these title cards that pop up which go through the different seasons. And I just feel when they pop up, it sort of distracts from the story they're telling and it feels a bit, then the story feels a bit disjointed in many ways. And I could understand why they were doing this, but it just took me out a little bit. And that's the other thing I would say that I didn't quite enjoy as much about it either. Overall, I enjoyed my experience with it. Final thoughts. At the heart, I think this film's really about relationship, whether that's romantic, whether that's family, whatever it is, or friends. It looks at the connections that people have and the relationships people form with different people, that families they're born into and families that they create themselves. And it looks at how difficult romantic relationships can be and navigating through that. I think it really sort of shows that in a sort of interesting, great way. I'm going to give Emma 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was solid and overall I enjoyed the performances and this is a story I really like. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and if you did, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.